Welcome to the Range Roast, I'm Philip. Today we are reviewing a whiskey that is in about one, two, three, six of the Virginia Whiskey Tournament. And that the distillery is the Cashel Vanguard. Well, it's Cashel Beer and Spirits, which is part of Vanguard. And the whiskey is their peated single malt. Now, single malt whiskey, American single malt whiskey is a growing, an up and coming category of spirit within the United States. And I happen to be on a show that goes live on every other Thursday on YouTube and Twitch called The Single Malt Frontier, where we talk about single malt whiskey almost exclusively. And this is one of the single malts that I think I've given Doug some of, but I'm not 100% sure. I have to ask him. And it is, in my personal opinion, one of the great examples of what American single malt can be. So, Cashel, if you are unfamiliar, is a it's a small ring fort that's found in Scotland and a little bit in Ireland, and their peated single malt is, by in their words, a Scottish style whiskey, 100% malted barley, peated, and it is lovely stuff. Bottled at 50% alcohol by volume, and with no age statement, so I'm not sure how old it is. It's old enough to have lost a lot of the new makey funk that is distinctive. If you've ever had new make, you know what I'm talking about. There's something about it that, like, ethanol so strong that it is a note totally separate from what you would expect ethanol to smell like. Let's talk about the nose. It's got that lovely, like, burning earth and seaweed, almost tarry iodine notes, but it's got the sweetness of oak that I think a lot of single malt scotches lack. I'm not sure if this is aged in new oak. It does not say. I'll have to send them an email and ask. I have I have a business card for somebody there, somewhere around here. But it's got that nice, lovely sweetness that is very much an oak sweetness, not a grain sweetness. Sort of robust roundness characteristic of malted barley, with that rich mantle of, like, burning earth and tar and iodine that comes from peat, with just a touch of, like, oak sweetness. I really like this stuff. I think that, having tried their bourbon and their unpeated single malt, I think that this is my favorite. This is the only bottle of their whiskey that I own. But I should buy more of their whiskey. Wonderful stuff. On the palate, it shows its youth a little bit. Is a little bit aggressive. It's got that nice sort of, like, warming sensation, and the like almost dragon breath sensation of that, like, rich smoke. There's more woodiness on the palate than there is on the nose, which makes for like more of a beach bonfire sort of flavor. Beautiful stuff. I really like it. It is intense. It is attention grabbing. The palate is sort of a more focused, sharp um, expression of what the nose delivers. Coming back to the nose from that sip, there's a little bit of like a licoricey herbal note. Wonderful stuff. I really like it. The finish is exactly what you want from a peated whiskey. It is clinging, slightly drying smoke and oiliness, and it sits on the back of your palate forever. I really like it. I'll be tasting this for probably the rest of the day, and I'm not complaining. I really like this stuff. That brings us to the three questions that I always ask. One, do I like it? I think I've covered that one fairly solidly. Yes, I like this a lot. It is one of my favorite American single malts. Strangely, you know, uh, two of my three favorite single malt distilleries in the States produce peated malt that I think is fantastic and can sit alongside some of the big dogs of Islay. Do I think it's a good value? Yes. Yes, I do. Let me just double check the price on this. I believe it's about $50. So their peated single malt whiskey is not listed on the BAABC website, but it is about $60 based on looking at the prices of their unpeated single malt and their bourbon. So, do I think it's a good value? Yeah. Yeah. It is roughly on par with what you would pay for a peated single malt from Scotland, but it's locally produced in Virginia, and that makes it, in my personal opinion, a more interesting bottle and more worth the money. Let me just move this there so that you can see it a little bit better. And that brings us to the third question. Do I recommend it? Absolutely. If you are getting started looking at American single malt whiskeys and you live in the Commonwealth of Virginia, Caiseal is a great place to look. They offer a peated malt, which Virginia Distilling Company does not currently and probably won't, as far as I know. But the folks from the Virginia Distillery Company are free to correct me on that if that is not the case. And it is not totally unique in that there are other peated single malts, but it is the only peated American single malt currently available in the Commonwealth of Virginia. You can buy it directly from Caiseal at the Vanguard Brew Pub, which is in the old Armory building, which incidentally is sort of part of the inspiration for their name. Caiseal is a ring fort, and they're in the Armory, which is fortress-like. It makes sense. And that covers that, which brings me to the Virginia Whiskey Tournament. As you see behind me, it is still going on. There is still time to vote. I would really appreciate your help. I'm selling pens. This one is actually listed now on Etsy, as well as bowls. I have been I spent all of this morning adding listings to my Etsy shop, so there are more things there. Um, when you buy a pen or a bowl from me, you are making it possible for me to spend money on things like the Caiseal Peated single malt and other Virginia whiskey that I can recommend to you, and maybe some that I can't recommend to you, but that's neither here nor there. So, I would appreciate your support. There will be a link in the description down below. And I believe that covers everything that I need to cover. So, until next time, stay happy, stay geeks. Slancha.